this is a bad idea. In the interest of drumming up viewership, I'm going to make a list video, and I'm not very excited about list videos, but okay, I'll make one. This is my top, whatever that number is, books in this room. I have 30 minutes, and I can't cut away, and I have to have something to say about the book other than I like this. That's not going to be enough. It has to be more than I like this. I only have 30 minutes, and what else? I guess I'll be getting up and down, so sorry about that. Also, no graphic novels, no art books. It's just prose. So, in the interest of being fun, got the clock here. Wish me luck. Okay. Well, I've mentioned it before, and I'll bring it up again. But, oh yeah, alphabetical, I guess, too. Joe Abercrombie's The Blade Itself. I really like this book. I read it the first time and kind of bounced off a little bit. I'm not really sure why. Gave it another chance and really liked it. Especially, I liked it the third book in the series, which I'm only not going to cheat and talk about all three of them, although I probably could. Like the book a lot. It messes with your expectations, and that's something I've said before, and I really enjoyed that. It's definitely a book that if you've read fantasy before, you should read this, because it sort of expects you to have read fantasy and sort of messes with that stuff that you expect. That's it. Okay, yeah, this is great, but I'm over here, isn't it? Oh, shit, I gotta find some. Okay. All right. This is a collection of the Thieves' Worlds books. The first two are the only two that I've read. I enjoy them. I especially like, this is an obvious. This is like a few books in here. I think 4 or 5. I'm not going to look. But especially like the title of the second book in this series. It's sort of like a round robin setting. They make the setting, and everybody kind of like, a bunch of different writers like wrote stories. And I especially like, this is one of the reasons I really want to say it, is that I like the title of the second book, Tales from the Vulgar Unicorn. Well, I already messed up and I can't cut it. Tales from the Vulgar Unicorn. And I absolutely love that title. That's it. Okay, let's see. Margaret Atwood, Oryx and Crake. I really like this book. Definitely, like, really interesting take. I read this in a science fiction like literature class in college. The teacher was on the required reading. In fact, this may actually be that book. Still, not sure. And really liked it. Didn't know what to expect. In fact, almost all the books I read there were great. This one was really good. Very interesting take on post-apocalyptic stuff. Not read Atwood's Handmaid's Tale, so but it's a good book. I gotta move fast. Okay. This is an easy one. Clive Barker's Magica. Friend of mine really loved this book. Recommended it to me. I read it and really, really, really enjoyed it. Really good. It made me realize that Clive Barker is really not a horror writer. He's a fantasy writer that sort of gets mislabeled. He uses a lot of horror imagery, but this is a wonderful, amazing, amazing fantasy novel. It's maybe one of the best books I've read. Like, maybe ever, I guess, or certainly one of my absolute favorites, and maybe one of the ones that I treasure the memory of most. Really great. A lot of really good Clive Barker stuff out there. When Clive Barker's on, he's really on. So, definitely on this book. On my way. Hurry. Okay, I'm looking. Sorry. Okay. Classic science fiction story. I'm looking at the wrong place. Classic science fiction story. Alfred Bester's The Star is My Destination. Hold on, I'm going to minimize this window so I can stop doing that. The Star is My Destination. Really amazing book. Sort of deals with the concept of, like, if this sort of technology, this sort of jaunting, which is sort of like being able to mentally teleport around, existed, how it changes everything. Really, really fascinating. And just not only is that concept explored in a very interesting way, but just the story itself is a really well written and very tight story. Not a very long book. A whole lot happens, and it's very interesting. Might take a bit to get into. It's a very unusual book, but if you give it a chance, I think you'll really be surprised. The Stars, My Destination, Alfred Bester. Okay, I'm over here. Still off camera, sorry. Oh, yes, okay. All right. Classic Ray Bradbury. This is October Country. Some really good, actually very thematic if you're watching this soon after I put it out. Halloween stories and sort of spooky stories. One of my absolute favorites in here is Homecoming, I think is what it's called. I'm going to have to look. I'm going to take too much time. I'm going to look. I believe it's called Homecoming. Yes, Homecoming, which is a story about a kid who's a regular kid, but his family is sort of like, I don't know, like the Munsters or like the Addams family, and essentially, like, well, more like I guess more like the Munsters. All his family is like monsters, but he's just a regular kid. Really great, sort of melancholic sort of story, which is kind of characteristic of Bradbury. Really, really excellent collection. Bradbury, if you haven't read them, you should really read them. Just a reader that kind of transcends the genre, so to speak. Fahrenheit 451 is another classic by him. I've read it numerous times, really like it. But maybe if that wasn't your style, this is a lot more, a darker fantasy, and I think it might be very appealing. Reminiscent of Something Wicked This May Comes. It's another great one by him. I'm going to keep going. All right, what do we have next? I'm looking over here. Oh, shoot, do I have it? What book is this? The first, yes, okay. All right, this is an easy one. My brother-in-law recommended this stuff to me. Stephen Bruce, the Vlad Tepes series. This is the Book of Zhreg. This is the first 3 books. I've read the first 2. I think only the first 2. Really liked them. Fantasy series where the main character sort of runs like a guild, like a criminal organization, and so but like in a fantasy world where magic exists, and so that sort of idea of running a criminal organization where magic really exists is like fully explored, and explored very intelligently. I really liked it. It was a lot better written than I thought. I'd seen this stuff before and never really kind of wrote it off. And it was a favorite of his, and he recommended it and read it and thought, oh, this is really great, actually. This is actually really good writing. So Stephen Bruce, if you're interested in fantasy, especially if it's like a slightly like a focus on like thieves and assassins, like really, really good stuff, you know. So a lot of fun. Moving on. Oh, and I have to reshelve all these books too. That's something I didn't anticipate. Okay. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and pull out Tarzan of the Apes. I like Burroughs. I especially like the John Carter of Mars, but there's something a little bit magical about Tarzan, the first Tarzan story. Especially since Tarzan like teaches himself how to read. Yes, that's true. No other human teaches Tarzan to read but himself. I think Tarzan is kind of like the model in a lot of ways for like a lot of your sword and sorcery characters, like Conan, for example. I think I notice, having read Tarzan and then not long after read some of those Conan stories, that some of the imagery that Robert E. Howard uses for Conan is reminiscent of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Although I will say that Howard writes better action than Burroughs. Burroughs' characters tend to be a little bit like overwhelmingly competent sometimes, whereas Howard's characters can be, but they're not quite so epically competent. Anyways, Tarzan of the Apes, really great. Return of Tarzan, I talked about that in another time. Moving on. Well, I could talk about that. I don't know. I don't even have that. I can't talk about the book. It's not here. Damn. Yes, this is excellent. All right. A great book that I came across a long time ago and read and really enjoyed. Really amazing Italian writer, Italiano Calvino. This is Numbers in the Dark, a collection of his short stories. Some really creative and interesting short stories in here. I think I've mentioned one of them before about these generals or sort of military leaders that invade this city, and they want to burn all the books in his library, and the librarians get them to start reading the books. And after these guys start reading the books, they just can't end up, they can't burn any of them because, like, no, I got to read the next one. And so they just, it's kind of an interesting, funny story. They're a little anecdotal, or maybe even a little bit of the quaint side to them, but I think that they're, and maybe a little bit humorous, but I think they're really great and very creative and imaginative. He wrote another story that I'm really fond of called, is it Half a Night, or I can't remember. Well, I don't know. Anyways, I don't have that book here, but I have this book here, Numbers in the Dark, really great, Italiano Calvino. There you go. Okay. Robert Cargill, Sea of Rust. Yes, I still have the sticker on here. I read this a while back. I kind of meant to talk about it and never did. I was going to do a whole thing with robots and I just never did it. What a shame. But this is a really great story. It really kind of threw me for a loop for a little while because it was talking about robots, and it's kind of like after all humans are gone. So it's all the characters in the story are robots. There's no humans in the story at all. And then it's sort of like the robots sort of bring about this apocalyptic event. They sort of wipe out the humans, and then it's like these like AIs are starting to come after the robots themselves. A really interesting sort of like, after the apocalypse for the apocalypse makers or something. I don't know. A very actiony story. I was a little bit disappointed that maybe we didn't get a lot more of the cerebral stuff that the beginning of the book seemed to suggest. Also, it was a really good book. I just really loved the setup at the beginning, and I didn't feel like it just went in a different direction. It went in a direction of, this sort of actiony story, a very, very actiony story, and well-written action. I just really loved the ideas of the early part of the story that just didn't get fully fleshed out to my liking. But really great story. The Sea of Rust, Robert Cargill. Oh, shoot. Oh, I don't know if I'm putting this rank in the right place. Well, it's going there. Well, okay. Okay. Probably not a new book to anybody who reads science fiction. I really enjoyed it. I know people have problems with the writer. That's neither here nor there. I don't really have any particular strong feelings in favor of the writer, but I just like this series, and that's Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. Really enjoyed Ender's Game. Ender's Game is very much a sort of like surprise type thing, which I think which still kind of holds up somewhat in a reread. Actually, much more to me that I enjoy a lot more. This next book, Speaker for the Dead, the sequel to this, and Xenocide, I liked much more, especially Speaker for the Dead. That was a really good one. That was a much less of a military sci-fi book like Ender's Game, and a lot more sort of cerebral. Really enjoyed that book. I've liked a lot of Card stuff. I know that people like him. I think he's a very devout variety of Christian, and I think maybe some of his views don't mesh as well with the modern audiences. I can understand their point of view, but I still enjoy this book and Card's writing. So there you go. Do I have? Oh, yes. Excellent. I really need to do a full review of this book. I keep thinking that every time I pick up a book. But Michael Chabon, mostly known for his more like modern sort of just fiction, but he wrote this book, Gentlemen of the Road, which is a sword and sorcery book set in sort of like actual history. There's no real magic in this story. Really, really, really good read. Not a very long book. Really a lot of fun to read. Very well written, and very true to the genre. And also, I don't know if this is a hardback version. I don't know if the current paperback version has nope, we're just going to try again. The illustrations by Gary Gianni, which this one has. I guess I could show one. I don't know what will happen here. But there's one right there. I love Gary Gianni's artwork, and this has it, which is just sort of enhances the book. I think Chabon said that the inspiration for this was he wanted to write a book about Jews with swords, and that's what this is. Very Farfod and the Grey Mouser-ish. Excellent book. Really, really a lot of fun to read. And that's it. We're moving on. I have no idea what time we're at. I can't even look. Oh. Well, okay. Now, I read this book a long time ago. It's been a while. but I remember liking it. It was a longer book, and it was a little difficult to get through. And that's Susanna Clarke's Jonathan Strange and Miss Cinderella. I really liked it. It's a very slowly paced book. Very slowly paced. In fact, if I did the audiobook, so if I had actually physically read the book, I'm not sure I would have got through it. I just that's one of the reasons I went to audiobooks, is that I found that I could finish books that I knew that otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to finish. And I think a book finished is a book finished, period, as far as I'm concerned. So whatever you got to do to get through it is what you got to do. That's what I do to get through this, because the writing was very slow paced and I would have killed me. But I did enjoy the book. It was a very pleasant experience to end on. It isn't perfect, but I think because of its pacing, it can kind of be whatever. And I think I maybe am not quite so endeared to it as I was when I read it, but I still have very fond memories of it. And I still think it's a very good book. So whatever that, take from that what you will. That's it. Oh, trying to find books. I have to make sure and try not to pick the same order. Oh, this is an easy one. Oh, sure, I got to go ahead. All right. I brought this book up before too. All three of these, I've not read everything with this writer, but Glenn Cook and the Black Company. This omnibus collects the first three Black Company books, which is the Black Company, Shadowslinger, and the White Rose. The kind of idea here is to sort of take the idea of like Lord of the Rings, right? Except that imagine that the group, it's about this mercenary group who sort of like works for the bad guys, works for like one of the Nazguls. That's like the hot take, it's like this mercenary group that ends up working for the Nazguls, and they're conflicted about it. Really handled well. Really, really great book. In fact, I need to reread the second book, especially because I don't think I've ever seen a better development of seeing a character go from being good to being transformed into being evil over the course of a book than the second book here, which was Shadowslinger. I remembered that thinking, wow, that was amazing. Especially the first two books were really, really, really good. The third book kind of wrapped things up, and then it goes into more books, and those are also good, but those first two were just like blew me out of the water, so to speak. Well, I don't know what I was doing in the water, but it blew me out of it. Okay, I'm trying to find a book. Oh, tell me I got the book here. Oh, no, I don't have it. Well, you know what? Okay. If I'm going to pick one, I'll pick this one. I don't know what book that is. Okay, I could pick a lot of books by this writer. I'm going to pick this one because it's a once-off. And that's Bernard Cornwell's Agincourt. If you want to try Bernard Cornwell, and I think you should, Agincourt's really good because it's a single-off novel. Just talks about the Battle of Agincourt, the build-up to it. Cornwell is known for his historical fiction. That's what this is. And really creating these very powerful and very well-written battle sequences. He's probably best known for his Sharp series. He also has a TV show now based on The Last Kingdom series, but I don't think it was called The Last Kingdom. I can't remember what it's called. The Saxon books, or The Last Kingdom, or The Uhtred Story, or something. Anyways, but this is just a once-off, and I think it gives a really good sample of the book. Actually, the Saxon, The Last Kingdom stories are not my favorite series of his. It's the Grail series. I think it's the Grail series about an archer, and that was a really excellent series. That's not the book I'm holding up though. So, anyways, Agincourt, really great. Bernard Cornwell, you should really try him. Really, really great. He writes historical fiction and it reads almost like fantasy, but it's very well and skillfully written. How am I doing on time? Holy. I gotta move faster. Oh, there's that book. Okay, keep going. Keep going. I am nowhere close. Okay. I can't resist talking about this. I had a lot of fond memories as a youth, finding these books and reading them, but that's the Legends of Lone Wolf. This is not the Choose Your Own Adventure stories that Joe Deaver wrote. These are fantasy stories. Kind of young adultish. Really love these books. Very well written, very entertaining, a lot of fond memories about them. I kind of reread them and I thought, they kind of held up. Anyways, Joe Deaver, the Lone Wolf series, I think there's way more of these than I thought there were. This is like the first 3 or 4 books, and I have another one, and there's 2 or 3 more after that. I'm like, holy crap, I didn't know we had this one. And it was really good. Does it? Okay, but... Okay. A lot of people love Philip K. Dick. I'm so about Philip K. Dick. It really depends. I've read a lot of Philip K. Dick and thought it was okay, but a couple of his books I really enjoyed. One of them is Valis. Valis is like a head trip, and I really enjoyed the head trip. Philip K. Dick is actually kind of a character in this book, so it kind of works on a meta level. That's about all I'm going to say about it. It's because I'm really short on time, but there you go. But here you go. Sure, here you go. Okay, keep going. Oh my god. Try not. Oh well. Okay. I was talking earlier about audiobooks really getting you through a book that you would otherwise not get through. Well, that was the case for The Three Musketeers. I absolutely love The Three Musketeers. Yes, there's a tag in there. And I don't know that I would have read it if I had gone and like actually paged the book. I just don't know if that would have happened. But through a audiobook, I read it and absolutely fell in love. And I absolutely love Alexandre Dumas's writing. One of my absolute favorite books of all time, Three Musketeers. Just love it. Such fun, adventure, silly, crazy. It has everything. Romance and adventure and intrigue and everything. So just a wonderful book. A lot of people want to say Count of Monte Cristo is their favorite, and I understand why, but I found that a little too somber. I enjoyed the characters and the interplay in the Musketeer series. So there you go. Well, I'm not gonna. Oh, do you want to? Nope, not gonna bring up Farmer because we already did. You know what? I want to, but I'm so short on time. Okay, here. This is definitely not going to be a favorite because I'm skipping over books left and right. I found the sequel to this book recently, and I thought, I got to read this, and I am going to read it. Mark Frost is known for his work on Twin Peaks. He wrote a series of books, two, in fact, that feature Sherlock Holmes and Lovecraftian horrors. Actually, not Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle and Lovecraftian horrors that precede this sort of Sherlock Holmes Cthulhu mixes that we got like 10 or 15 years later. I really like this book. Kind of a hard book to find. There's no Audible and there's no ebook. You have to find an old copy. Anyways, list of 7. Really great, really fun read. I'm going to reread it and talk about it in the future. Oh, it's been wonderful to see me do this stuff. Neil Gaiman. It'd be really easy to talk about. I like Neil Gaiman. The end. I mean, this is too many to go there. I'm way short on time. That's all it would be. I should bring up books. I guess this is more like books I've read. Books that I handpicked. I don't know. Okay. Here. Okay. You know what? I already talked about this book. I'm doing it again? I guess I'm doing it again. M. John Harrison, a writer that I really like. Kind of a lesser known British writer. Sure, he's British, isn't he? Veracronium is a sort of post-apocalyptic, steampunkish fantasy series. Really, it's more like science fantasy, but whatever. Really enjoy this stuff. Harrison writes a really good novel, and this is a really good novel. What a biting review that was. Okay. Give me something here. Oh, I have not. Nope, can't talk about that. Dune. I read Dune too. I liked it. The end. I mean, 100 of the people will tell you about Dune. Why do you need to hear from me? Okay. Yes. Okay. Now, I like Robert E. Howard, and I'm okay with Conan, but what I really like is Solomon Kane. The Solomon Kane stories were really, really, really good. Howard has got issues just like Burroughs as far as like some of the stuff that he says. I don't know that I think Burroughs might be a little more direct and a little worse in some ways, but in any event, if you can weather that, I think you should be able to. I hope that you can, and hopefully it's not too bad. I don't remember this being terrible, but it might be there. Solomon Kane stories are, in my opinion, generally, as a character, Solomon Kane is much more interesting and better, and I think some of the stories in here are really, really, really good. I like him a little bit more than Conan, but some of the Conan stories themselves, the stories are excellent. Holy crap. Okay. We already talked about that. That makes for great TV when I flip around in front of the camera. Well, what's about something I don't want to ever bring up? I don't know. Okay. I've read most of these stories. It's been a very long time, but Sheridan LaFong and his, I hope I said that name right, and his In a Glass Darkly. He writes gothic sort of ghost stories and stuff like that. Really liked it. Much slower paced writer. I'm not going to say that his writing is the best or that he's one of the best, but I really enjoyed some of the stories in here. The really weird, bizarre, non-standard imagery that I really enjoyed. You know what? God damn it, there was a book over there I suppose. I should have brought up an Algernon Blackman book. But you know what? Here I am way over here, so it's too damn late. What? I don't know what that means. Why is it too late? This is my list. I can do whatever I want. I can make the time go on twice. No, we're not going to do that. Not going to break the rules. I'm trying not to bring up like Jack London or H.P. Lovecraft because whatever, you've seen that stuff. I'm not going to show you Larry McMurtry because I don't have anything interesting that's not that. I have not finished that book. I cannot bring it up. You know what? Okay. I like China Mill. I'm going to reread Perdido Street Station at some point, bring it up. But you know what I thought was more crazy, creative, and interesting than Perdido Street Station was the sequel, The Scar. That was a good book. This book is crazy, crazy, crazy. I have never seen, like, literally China Melville in this book is like just tossing ideas out like they're candy at like a parade, okay? It's that crazy. You're like, holy crap. It's like at some point I'm like getting a pencil. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah. That's what it was like. I actually picked up a pencil and did that. Okay, give me a minute. Sure, Hawkmoon. Okay, I talked about Michael Moorcock. I love Michael Moorcock. Really like his writing. A series that I want to reread and talk about again is Dorian Hawkmoon, or just Hawkmoon, the Hawkmoon series, which is a series of books. Just a really great sort of like a post-apocalyptic future where all these sort of like Nazi-ish type empires trying to attack and all these different clans of Nazis, I guess you'd say, like have different animal masks, right? And the leader of them wears a wolf mask, and that's who Hawkmoon has to fight. I actually talked about the graphic novel for Hawkmoon that a couple months ago. So Hawkmoon 2 times. But Michael Moorcock, the Hawkmoon series, I think the first one is called Jewel in the Skull. There, if that's something to need. Well, I could have talked about core, but I didn't. Oh well. Oh sure. Oh, this is a great one. Okay. Oh man, give me some time. 3 minutes. Okay. All right. We're getting not nearly as far as I wanted to. Brian Lumley, Necroscope. I read this book for the first time, and the first 3 or 4 chapters were kind of a pain to get through, but I'd heard such good things. After you get through it, it becomes amazing. This book and the sequel, Wamfrey, which is spelled with a V, if I remember right, are a freaking amazing. They're very good. In fact, when they were making the Sixth Sense movie, I thought that that's what this was going to be for a second. It wasn't. It never became this. But yes, a young person can speak to dead people in their graves, and vampires are showing up, and this young man grows up and has to use his ability to talk to the dead to sort of avoid being destroyed by a vampire. I believe that's correct, and it's been a long time. But Necroscope, and it has been a long time since I read this book. Really great series. I would love to read and talk about Necroscope. Brian Lumley's stuff is actually pretty good. He wrote a lot of Lovecraftian pastiches, which are okay. His non-Lovecraftian pastiche stuff, his non-Titus Crow stuff, which I haven't read all his Titus Crow stuff. Don't get me wrong. But just this stuff is really good. Although after a certain point, I want to say after like the 4th or 5th book, it kind of isn't as good anymore. But, and I had issues with the 3rd book. But the first 2, especially the first one, if you only read the first one, great. The second one, you're like, the second one was absolutely amazing. Vamfrey? It's with a V. It's with a V. I don't have that book. No, I have it. Vampire. Vamfrey. Yeah. I can't edit it. God damn it. I just said vampire wrong but 12 times. I'm over here now. Okay, hopefully you can still hear me. Well, we've already talked about that. Oh, who have I not? You know what? Where have I got? Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Maybe one of my favorite books, and maybe one of the most fucked up books I've ever read. But absolutely amazing, and I absolutely love his writing, is Chuck Palahniuk and Haunted. This book is amazing. It is also not for the faint of heart. If you are squeamish or don't like it when something sort of challenges you in any way, you probably shouldn't read Chuck Palahniuk, and you definitely shouldn't read Haunted. But otherwise, I'm going to tell you, this book was great. It is very, very, very graphic. Yeah, but amazing book. I really enjoyed Chuck Palahniuk's writing. I need to reread this book and talk about it because it's has the tie-ins with Frankenstein, actually. That's it. I'm out of the way. Oh, I don't have enough. No, can't talk about that. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, gotta hurry. Something. Oh, the timer's gonna go off and I'm gonna be super ticked off. I am not gonna make it to the end. Nope. Oh, well, I'm skipping over a whole bunch of stuff. I hope you can hear me. Alright. I'm gonna do. Oh, and two books at that? No. Ooh, what do we want to do? I don't know. Okay, fine. Yes, sure. And, I'm gonna micro. What are we gonna do? Oh no. Oh, shoot. Okay, sure. No, I didn't read this book. Oh no, it's the other one. How many seconds have I got? What a failure. Well, damn it. Just stop. You've crushed my dreams. Was that even watchable? Thank you. I spent too much time talking. Isn't that what always happens? I am recording. Oh god, thank you. I was like, holy crap. My name is Virgil. This is Literally Books. Bye.